Welcome, everybody, to today's episode of Hot Fitness Global Online Personal Training. And today we're going to be talking about one of the most widely used drugs on the planet. You guessed it. It's called alcohol. It comes in a lot of different types, forms, potencies. It's used in religious ceremonies. It lubed most of us up to, let our insecurities down. Hell, it's probably responsible for most child conception on the planet. It's abused. It's used in a lot of our rituals and ceremonies like weddings. It's used for holidays. It's used for all sorts of reasons. People will self-medicate to cure anxiety, lose their inhibitions, get wild, have fun, party, and just live it up a little bit. Of course, there's consequences with all of our actions. And so today, what we're going to be talking about is, does alcohol make you fat? How does alcohol affect your personal training and your goals? Will alcohol prevent you from getting your gains, bro? Is alcohol healthy? How much is unhealthy? What are the pros and cons? What does it do to the brain? What does it do to the cellular structure of the body? What does it do to the organs? We're going to dig deep. We're going to get into the science of it today. So pour yourself a beer or start taking shots. Just kidding. I don't recommend that. But if you're doing it, you're doing it. And let's talk about it. And let's see what happens when we introduce what is technically a poison into our bodies and why we do it for a good time. Yeah. All right, let's talk about the prevalence of drinking in today's society. In 2018, National Survey on Drug Use and Health, the NSDUH, came to the conclusion that 86.3% of people ages 18 or older reported that they drank alcohol at some point in their lifetime. 70% reported that they drank in the past year. 55.3% reported that they drank in the past month. The prevalence of binge drinking and heavy alcohol use. In 2018, 26.45% of people ages 18 or older reported that they engaged in binge drinking in the past month. That's 25% of the population, folks. 6.6% reported that they engaged in heavy alcohol use in the past month. Alcohol use disorder. Adults 18 plus. According to the 2018 study, 14.4 million adults ages 18 or older. 14.4 million, that's 5.8% of this age group had alcohol use disorder. This includes 9.2 million men, 7.6% of men in the age group, and 5.3 million women, 4.1% of women in this age group. About 7.9% of adults who had alcohol use disorder in the past year received treatment. This includes 8% of males and 7.7% of females with alcohol use disorder in this age group. Let's talk about the youth, ages 12 to 17. According to 2018, the study done in 2018 that I'm referring to, link will be in the comments section. An estimated 401,000 adolescents ages 12 to 17, or 1.6% of this age group, had alcohol use disorder. This number includes 173,000 males ages 12 to 17. That's 1.4% of the males in the age group, and 227,000 females. Whoa, more chicks are drinking from the age of 12 to 17 than the dudes. That's crazy. About 5% of youth who had alcohol use disorder in the past year received treatment. This includes 5.6% of the males and 4.6% of the females. So more males are getting treatment, although more females in the age group of 12 to 17 have alcohol use disorder. Let's talk about alcohol-related deaths. An estimated 88,000 people, approximately 62,000 men, 26,000 women, die from alcohol-related causes annually, making alcohol the third leading preventable cause of death in the United States. The first is tobacco. The second is poor diet and physical inactivity. Wow. Tobacco is the number one killer in the United States when it comes to preventable deaths. The second highest killer that is preventable is a shit diet and lack of exercise. Imagine that. The third biggest killer is alcohol. Right there. Put them all together. What do you got? A ticking time bomb. Here's a fun little fact. In 2010, alcohol misuse cost the United States $249 billion. 3/4 of the total cost of alcohol misuse is related to binge drinking. What about the global burden? In 2012, 3.3 million deaths, or 6% of all global deaths. 6% of all global deaths were attributed to alcohol consumption. In 2014, the World Health Organization reported that alcohol contributed to more than 200 diseases and injury-related health conditions, most notably the DSM-5, alcohol dependence, liver cirrhosis, cancers, and injuries. In 2012, 5.1% of the burden of diseases and injuries worldwide, 139 million disability-adjusted life years, was attributed to alcohol consumption. Globally, alcohol misuse was the 5th leading risk factor for premature death and disability in 2010. Among people between the ages of 15 and 49, it is the first. In the age group of 20 to 39 years old, approximately 25% of the total deaths are alcohol attributed. Wow. 25% of all deaths globally for people dying between the ages of 20 and 39 years old. That seems high. More than 10% of U.S. children live with a parent with alcohol patterns, according to a 2012 study. Drinking alcohol increases the risk of cancers of the mouth, esophagus, pharynx, larynx, liver, and breast. All right, let's pull some information straight from healthline.com. I think the article is called 23 Effects of Alcohol on the Human Body. Let's knock them out. Shrinking brain. Long-term exposure to alcohol can shrink the frontal lobes of your brain. Behavior changes. Alcohol can change your typical behaviors and leave you without the mental clarity to make intelligent choices. Blackouts. Alcohol can interfere with how your brain makes memories. It's possible to wake up with no recollection of what you did while you were drinking or even before you were drinking. Hallucinations. For people with alcohol dependency, a sudden withdrawal may cause serious complications, including hallucinations. Dependence. Alcohol dependence varies from person to person, so it's hard to define, but may become physically dependent on alcohol if drinking alcohol starts to affect your ability to perform well in school or work and affects your relationships. Slurred speech. Slurred speech is one of the first symptoms of excessive alcohol consumption. Heart damage. Chronic heavy drinking is one of the leading causes of cardiovascular disease, cancer. Chronic drinkers of alcohol are often more likely to develop throat, mouth, and esophagus cancers. Breast cancer is also more common in women who drink excessively. Liver damage. Of course, chronic alcohol use can damage the liver and prevent it from properly removing harmful substances from your body. Lung infections. People who drink frequently have a hard time fighting off bacteria and viruses and are more susceptible to illnesses like tuberculosis and pneumonia. Pancreatitis. Excessive alcohol consumption or abuse is the leading cause of chronic pancreatitis. Fatigue. Fatigue or feeling tired may be a sign of anemia, which is a possible complication of alcoholism. Frequent diarrhea. Alcohol consumption can damage your intestines, which may lead to bouts of diarrhea and stomach pain. Stomach distress. Drinking too much can lead to bloating, gas, and painful ulcers. Infertility. Over a long period of time, drinking excessive amounts of alcohol may cause infertility. Birth defects. A pregnant woman's heavy drinking can increase a baby's risk for several conditions, including fetal alcohol syndrome and issues with mental development. Sexual dysfunction. Men who have alcohol use disorder are more likely to experience erectile dysfunction. Thinning of the bones. Drinking increases your risk of osteoporosis or thinning bones. Malnutrition. Alcohol prevents your body from properly absorbing the vitamins and minerals from foods you eat. Changes in coordination. Too much alcohol can interfere with your coordination and your ability to balance or walk. Numbness. Tingling, numbness, or pain in your hands or feet may be a sign of damage to your central nervous system. Muscle cramps. People who drink often experience muscle cramping, weakness, and eventually muscle death. All right, so once alcohol is introduced into the system, what you have to understand is it's a toxin. Your body is going to use up that energy source first, so it eliminates it from your system. Now, 90% of alcohol is going to be processed through the liver, a few more percentages through the lungs. That's why breathalyzers are effective. But alcohol is empty calories, and there's 7 calories per gram of alcohol. What does this mean? It means when you take in those calories, your body, it's a very fast burning fuel. Your body is going to burn those calories first. So while it doesn't prevent you from losing fat, what it does do is it stops the fat burning process. It puts all other calories and fat burning processes on hold. So while your body is processing the alcohol, any other food and energy, any other calories in your system from proteins, fats, carbs, they're not being used for metabolism. They're not being used for energy. Only the alcohol is. So you're on pause for fat burning right there. Your body has to process the alcohol first before you get back to burning the calories that you want. So they're empty, useless calories from alcohol. We all know that alcohol loosens up our inhibitions. Now, I'm not going to go into all the bad choices we may make while we're drinking. I will leave that between you and your own conscience. But one of the biggest things alcohol does is people don't include it into their daily caloric intake. And they should, because those energy needs are being met by alcohol while all the food that you've eaten throughout the day is now put on the back burner and not being used as fuel. You're now burning alcohol, ethanol. So we have a tendency to even eat more because of our inhibitions are loosened. We have a tendency to make just poor choices. And we have a tendency to eat foods that we typically wouldn't eat. And we have a tendency to graze and snack and get the munchies and just go overboard sometimes. How many times you heard people be like, oh, he's drunk, he needs to eat some bread to sober up. She's drunk, she just needs some food to soak it up. No. Now, that might help the lining of the stomach because alcohol usage does affect the lining of the stomach, and we'll get into that. It may make the stomach feel better, but it by no means soaks up alcohol. That is 100% your liver's job. The crazy thing about alcohol, as we already discussed, is it goes right to all your organs at once, including your skin. So it's eliminated through sweat, through your breath, but mostly processed through the liver and kidneys and comes out as urine. Because of which, alcohol is a byproduct of yeast digestion. It can have a severely irritating effect on the lining of the stomach. It can gradually weaken the kidneys and liver, leading to serious health problems, of course, death in very bad circumstances. But any weakening of the stomach is going to lessen the rate and efficiency at which food is digested, which ultimately interferes with a healthy metabolism and your weight loss process. The liver, which processes the toxins and breaks down fats for fuel, is crucial when it comes to maintaining healthy body composition. Alcohol is at its most destructive during the liver's detoxification process. Here's another one for the guys and the girls, if you know what you're doing. Alcohol lowers testosterone. Testosterone has a very powerful fat loss effect. It is reduced whenever alcohol is consumed, thus halting its full potential as a fat burner. Also, testosterone is an anabolic hormone. It contributes to gains in lean muscle mass. So lower testosterone means fewer muscular gains, and less muscle means a lowered metabolic rate. A lower metabolic rate will make the job of losing fat all the more harder. This is what governs the way we use energy. Those with a higher metabolic rate will burn more calories at rest. By interfering with testosterone production, alcohol indirectly causes the body to lower its metabolic rate, and thus the rate at which it uses energy, and directly prohibits testosterone from exerting its powerful fat-burning effects. All right, as most people already know that are of the drinking age, the alcohol content per drink varies, but it's listed right there on the container. Your average beer has about 5% alcohol. Wine is usually around 12% alcohol. 100 proof liquor is about 50% alcohol, and 80 proof liquor is about 40% alcohol. Now, without going into the detail of the brands, one can of regular 4 to 5% alcohol beer contains 14 milligrams of sodium, about 1%, 12.6 grams of carbohydrates, about 4%, 1.6 grams of protein, 14.2 milligrams of calcium, 96.1 grams of potassium, for a total calorie count of about 153, includes 97 calories from alcohol. One can of 3-point beer, which I don't even know if that's available anymore, but maybe in some states. It has about 34.7 grams of carbs, about 12%, and the total calories is 139. One can of light beer, 14 milligrams of sodium, 5.9 grams of carbs, 0.98 grams of proteins, 14.4 milligrams of calcium, 75.6 milligrams of potassium, for a total calorie count of about 105, includes 78 calories from alcohol. One glass of wine, one glass of champagne contains 2 grams of carbs, total calories 85, 77 calories of which are directly from alcohol. One glass of dessert wine, the sweet kind, 9 milligrams of sodium, 14.1 grams of carbohydrates, 0.1 milligrams of calcium, 0.9 milligrams of potassium, total calorie count 165, of which 110 calories are from alcohol. One glass of reduced alcohol, 6% wine, 10 milligrams of sodium, 13.3 milligrams of calcium, 130.2 milligrams of potassium, 1.7 grams of carbs, total calories 74, of which 66 calories are directly from alcohol. How about red wine? 4.4 grams of carbs, 0.1 gram of protein, total calories 123, of which 105 calories are from alcohol. White wine, 5.5 grams of carbs, 0.1 grams of protein, total calories 120. That is 98 calories from alcohol. How about white sparkling wine? 4 grams of carbs. All of white are sugars. All the carbs are sugars. Total calories 93, including 77 calories from alcohol. Let's move on to liquor. 1 ounce of gin, 40% alcohol, contains 0.6 milligrams of potassium. Total calories 64 from alcohol. 1 ounce of rum, 40%, contains 0.6 grams of potassium, 64 calories from alcohol. 1 ounce of vodka, 80 proof, contains 0.6 milligrams of potassium, 64 calories from alcohol. 1 ounce of whiskey, 80 proof, 0.6 milligrams of potassium, 64 calories from alcohol. Liquors. 1 nip of Bailey's Irish Cream contains 5 grams of fat. 3.5 grams of this is saturated fat. 14 milligrams of cholesterol, 33 milligrams of sodium, 7.4 grams of carbs, 1.2 grams of protein. Total calorie count 121, of which 35 calories are from alcohol. How about schnapps? 1 nip of schnapps, however you say it, 80% or 80 proof. 7 grams of carbs, total calories 100, 70 are from alcohol. Amaretto, 17 grams of carbs, total calories 110, including 42 from alcohol. Coffee liquor, 3 milligrams of sodium, 11.2 grams of carbohydrates, 100% pure sugar in those carbs, 0.3 milligrams of calcium, 10.4 milligrams of potassium, total calories 107, including 63 from alcohol. Let's talk about alcohol and muscle building. All right, for the ladies, we call that toning because they like that word. For us dudes, we call it bodybuilding or bulking. I didn't mean to make that generalization right there on the sexes because that's not entirely true. A lot of women love bodybuilding, bulking. But I put it that way because I don't want anybody left out of this conversation, and I want you to know why this is important. First of all, let's talk about what muscle building is. It's actually brought about by the breakdown and subsequent rebuilding of muscle fibers. The breakdown process is known as catabolism, as the fibers in the muscles become separated. Then, protein synthesis processes are used to repair and rebuild the damaged muscle tissues in a process known as anabolism. However, if the rate of anabolism exceeds the rate of catabolism, therefore, when protein synthesis in muscles is higher than what is consumed in the catabolic processes, that's how muscles get bigger and we get gains. All right, a recent study conducted on rats showed that animals who consumed alcohol regularly during a 14-week period showed a significant decrease in lean muscle mass as well as other muscles in the body. Although since there was no significant reduction in the RNA content of muscle cells, it was concluded that the alcohol chiefly affected the efficiency of translation taking place, where free amino acids carried on tRNA line up with the appropriate mRNA base one by one to form complementary anticodons until the polypeptide sequence coded for by the DNA is completed. It was found that the effect was predominantly on fast twitch muscles, such as skeletal muscles, while slow twitch muscles, such as the heart, remained relatively unaffected. This reduction in muscle mass was caused by increase in the presence of a translational repressor protein, as well as decreased anabolic activity. So, before you go blaming your trainers or your fucking protein shakes or your fucking pre-workout or whatever else you're doing and saying it's not working, you seriously need to take a look at how many drinks you're having per week if you're having problems building muscle. Because it's well known in the bodybuilding community that if you're going to have more than 2 or 3 drinks, you might as well accept that's going to kick you out of anabolism for at least the next 24, 72 hours for most people, for the average person. Alcohol shuts down anabolism. It shuts down your ability to build muscle. It shuts down testosterone production in men. It shuts your shit down. That has to be known. It is going to affect you. It doesn't directly lead to your fat, but indirectly it does because it postpones fat burning capabilities. It lowers your metabolic rate. So if you want to look good, yeah, avoid the fucking alcohol. Now that I've given you the popular science and all the bad news, we can't deny the fact that there are studies out there that have shown different things in the scientific community. And we got to cover those as well. I by no means condone heavy drinking or drinking disorders of any kind, because I think long-term for your health, it's just flat out unhealthy. Not only that, it can cause depression, anxiety, and other side effects that really need to be addressed in another podcast. But, all right, I already said that alcohol may decrease testosterone levels, which may affect muscle growth, fitness, performance, and body composition. But research in this area apparently is arguable. There was a 6-week study found that men and women who consumed 30 to 40 grams of alcohol per day, there was a mere 6.8% reduction in testosterone levels for the men and absolutely no change for the women. This means that even while drinking 3 to 4 adult beverages per day for 3 weeks, there was only a very small reduction in testosterone. So for moderate drinkers, testosterone reduction does not seem to pose a significant threat. But what about consuming alcohol after your workout? Because marathoners have been throwing back a pint or two at the finish line for decades. One study looked at the hormonal response to alcohol consumption post-workout. Researchers gave participants the equivalent of an alcoholic drink after the resistance exercise and found that despite the significant alcohol consumption, there was no effect on testosterone and only modest prolonged cortisol effect compared to the exercise-only group. Another study looked at the effects of alcohol consumption before, during, 24 hours after, and 48 hours after a workout and found no significant changes in muscular performance nor any accelerated muscular damage. Granted, some studies have found the opposite. For example, one study found that a moderate dose of alcohol may impair normal muscle recovery after exercise. However, this effect was found after very strenuous, eccentric exercise that the average gym goer is less likely to engage in. Another study found that when given very high doses of alcohol, like 1.5 grams per kilogram of body weight post-exercise, the ethanol acted as a depressant and was linked with prolonged secretion of testosterone. In an alcoholic population, research has found that chronic drinkers suffered from reduced rates of muscle protein synthesis, but the same cannot be said for light to moderate drinking population. So, can you still enjoy your martini and still reap the benefits of your workout? Yes. The answer is yes. As long as you keep drinking to a moderate level and you're in control of that shit, by all means, get your blood work done, stay healthy. As long as it's not affecting your mood, your performance on your job, your family, and you're drinking small to moderate amounts, you can. However, if you are a hardcore gym goer, if you are all about the gains, if you're all about peak performance, if you're all about keeping your testosterone levels in the optimum level, it's ill-advised. And I don't know any trainer or coach who would say otherwise. In the off season, perhaps, sure, enjoy a bit of your life if you find it enjoyable. Have a drink on celebratory events. There's no reason that you can't. You know when it's going to become a problem. if your goals are serious goals, if you are really trying to lean out or you're really trying to pack on the muscle, it is only going to get in the way and slow down your goals. Period, point blank in the story. It's only going to slow you down. And honestly, for somebody that has serious goals, and then that is like you're passionate about it, it's just going to get in the way. You're going to have to make sacrifices to get there. I doubt there's too many world-class bodybuilders pounding a six-pack of beer after the workout, regardless of the carbs in it. I just don't see it happening. It's taking up space. They run the risk of catabolism, increased cortisol, lower testosterone, and so many other things that is just going to prevent them from winning. So when you're at that level of performance, I really don't see a need for alcohol whatsoever. It's a tricky drug, guys. It makes you, it plays on the reward centers in your brain. You know, it releases dopamine and serotonin, and it tells you lies. It tells you feel good. It tells you all sorts of stuff. It makes you feel bulletproof and 10 feet tall. It might get you your ass whooped if you have too many. Shit, you might end up pregnant. You have too many and didn't plan on getting pregnant. You might eat the whole motherfucking pizza that you never planned on eating because you had one too many. So be smart, be wise. If you're going to drink responsibly. Check the labels. If it doesn't belong in your training program, then get rid of it. Just know it's doing nothing positive for you. Some studies show it doesn't have an effect for light to moderate drinkers. However, there's a ton of studies that show all the negative effects of alcohol. Don't forget, it is pure toxic. It is a toxin to your body. Your body will shut down everything else going on. All your other metabolic processes will stop to metabolize the alcohol and rid it from your system. Keep that in mind when you drink. Always drink responsibly. Never drink and drive. And be safe and try to live the best life you can. That's a short little thing we did on alcohol today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was somewhat informative. Always feel free to email us, theboss@healthyoptimumtraining.com. If you got podcast ideas you want us to cover, do some research on, check out our website, teamhotfitness.com. Follow me everywhere at Mr. Hot Fitness, and we will be talking to you guys soon. Love your comments. Can't wait to see you next time.